Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking at something that you probably get in your inbox all the time.
Oh, yeah.
A PDF titled How to Make Money with PayPal.pdf. Now I know what you're thinking. $20,000 in 2 weeks using PayPal. Come on.
Sounds a little too good to be true.
Yeah, and you know those Oprah and Wall Street Journal mentions in there, they feel a little sus.
Yeah, definitely raises some red flags.
Yeah.
We should take a closer look at how this scheme claims to work. The psychology behind it is just as interesting as the mechanics.
So the PDF lays out this proven method that starts with a list of 3 email addresses. You send $5 via PayPal to the first one, bump the other 2 up a spot, add your own at the bottom, and then forward the whole thing to 20 people.
And the promise is that once your email gets to that top spot, you're going to be flooded with thousands of $5 payments, which they say will net you $20,000 in just 2 weeks. But the document goes beyond just the mechanics. It tries really hard to convince you that it's legal.
Yeah, they even cite U.S. lottery laws and say that you're exchanging a service, adding someone to a mailing list in exchange for the $5. They even include these testimonials from people like Tony Stevens and Mary Gathers who claim to have made bank.
Right.
But something about those testimonials feels off.
Yeah, that vagueness is a classic tactic.
Yeah.
No dates or specifics. Just enough to make you think, hey, if they can do it, I can too.
Right.
And by including PayPal in all of this, they're really trying to borrow that platform's credibility.
It's like they're hoping that no one's going to realize that PayPal would never endorse something like this. And then on top of everything else, they add in this referral bonus, saying that you'll get an extra $5 from PayPal for each person who signs up using your link.
Oh yeah, that detail's really interesting. It's true that PayPal does have a referral program, but they're twisting it to make this whole thing seem more legitimate and profitable.
So they're hitting you with the potential for getting rich. Guarantees that it's legal proof from other people, and even a bonus on top of it all. But here's where it gets tricky. The document begs you to play fair.
That's the psychological part of it. They want you to follow the rules so that you don't cheat anyone and everyone wins. They even say that cheating is impossible because PayPal only allows 1 account per person.
But isn't that kind of a contradiction? They're encouraging you to mass forward this to tons of people, which by nature creates competition and makes it so that not everyone can win. It feels like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too.
You're exactly right. They want the system to seem fair and sustainable, while at the same time relying on something that creates instability and, honestly, failure for most people. They hide this contradiction by using words like gift and helping others to kind of downplay the money part of it and make it seem like a community.
This whole play fair thing seems like it's straight out of the pyramid scheme playbook.
Yeah.
Preying on our sense of community and fairness. But in reality, pyramid schemes are inherently unfair.
That's true. And that's why understanding how these schemes work psychologically is so important. They take advantage of our biases and desires, which makes them even more dangerous.
Yeah, it's like they want to make it seem like some sort of shared journey, a community working together towards a common goal.
Right. But underneath it all, it's the same old pyramid scheme. The people at the top might make some money by recruiting new members, but as it grows, it gets harder and harder to recruit people, and then the whole thing just collapses.
And the people who join later on, the people at the bottom, they're the ones who end up losing everything. They put in their money because they thought they'd get rich, but then there's no one left to recruit.
Exactly. And that structure, combined with all the tricks we talked about, is why pyramid schemes are illegal in so many places. This PDF tries to get around that by saying it's just a legal exchange of services.
Right.
But that doesn't really make sense when you think about how much they focus on forwarding it to everyone and recruiting new people.
It's obvious that the money isn't from adding people to some mailing list. It comes from getting new people into this pyramid. And they even use PayPal's referral bonus program to try to prove that it's legit.
Yeah, that's really sneaky. They take something that's actually real, a feature that PayPal has, and twist it to fit their story. It's like they want you to think that PayPal is behind their scheme, which obviously isn't true.
So we've got this thing that promises easy money, throws in some fake testimonials, relies on recruiting people, and then tries to make it all sound legal with all this complicated mumbo-jumbo. What else should people watch out for when they're looking at these kinds of things?
Anytime someone promises you'll get rich quick and easy, that's a huge red flag. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Vague testimonials and claims that you can't verify are another bad sign.
Okay.
Right.
But of course, if they're focusing more on getting people to join than on the actual product or service,
Right.
that's a big problem. If the main goal is to recruit people instead of selling something worthwhile, that's a clear sign that something's fishy.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And if you see something using all these crazy legal arguments to explain how it works, that's a big warning sign. Real businesses don't need to do that to convince you that they're legit.
It seems like this whole PayPal thing is just your classic pyramid scheme, but moved online. They took an old scam and put it on the internet.
It just goes to show you that scams come in all shapes and sizes, and they're always changing. That's why it's so important to think critically. You can't just take things at face value, especially when it comes to money. You have to dig a little deeper, question what they're telling you, and think about how it actually works.
But even with all the information out there, these scams still work. It's like they tap into something deep in our brains. The desire for easy money, the fear of missing out, maybe even desperation when times are tough.
It's interesting how they play on those things. We love to hear success stories, even if they're made up. And that can make us more likely to fall for these scams.
And by making it feel like you're part of a community, a group of people working together to get rich, it becomes even more appealing.
Yeah. It creates a sense of belonging, like you're all in it together,
Yeah.
which can make people less likely to question how it really works.
So if someone comes across something like this, what should they do?
The first thing is to be aware. Know the warning signs we talked about and trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't let the promise of easy money cloud your judgment.
What about reporting it? Should people do that? And who would they even report it to? What about reporting it? Should people do that? And who would they even report it to?
Yeah, absolutely. Reporting these things is super important. You can contact the Federal Trade Commission or your state's attorney general. Those are the agencies that investigate and shut these operations down.
Okay.
By reporting it, you could actually prevent someone else from falling victim.
It's like a public service then.
Right.
If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Do your research. Ask the right questions, and don't be afraid to walk away if you think something's wrong.
Exactly. And there are real ways to make money online. It just takes effort, skill, and a long-term perspective. Don't get caught up in the idea of getting rich quick. That usually ends badly.
This whole deep dive has been fascinating, but kind of scary, too. It's obvious that this PayPal scheme is designed to prey on people's hopes and dreams.
These schemes are all about exploiting our weaknesses. It's not just wanting to be rich. It's the fear of getting left behind, wanting a shortcut to success, and sometimes just plain desperation.
And the way they twist things like PayPal's referral program is really messed up. It
Yeah.
makes it seem more legit, which can fool people pretty easily.
Right. That's why it's so important to think for yourself. We can't just accept everything we hear, especially when it comes to money. We need to look closer, check the facts, and be careful about anything that sounds too good to be true.
So as we wrap up our look at this PayPal scheme, I can't help but wonder, why do these pyramid schemes keep popping up? Even with all the info online. They're illegal, they're unethical, but they never seem to go away.
It's a question that's been around for a long time. Maybe it's because we're obsessed with money and getting it fast. Or maybe it's the power of good marketing and the fact that we tend to believe what we want to believe,
Yeah.
even when it doesn't make sense.
It's a good reminder that we all need to be careful. These schemes use our desires, our fears, and our weaknesses to trick us.
Yeah, but the good news is that knowledge is power. The more we know about how these schemes work, the better we can protect ourselves and others.
So to everyone listening, if you see something that looks like a pyramid scheme, trust your gut. Do your research, and don't be afraid to say no. It's okay to be cautious, especially when it comes to your money.
And never forget, there's no shortcut to success. Hard work, planning, and a little bit of skepticism will get you much further.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe.